Welcome to the 2015-2016 school year, teachers. Today, you will be participating in the Data-Driven Instruction STAR Edition Professional Development put on by me, Sarah Maronen, your new Campus English Instructional Specialist. Welcome to this edition of Data-Driven Instruction. When you entered in to the classroom this morning, you were given a response card. A response card is a multiple response strategy that is approved by the district. It is used to elicit answers and responses from students. Using your response card, I want you to answer the following question. Using what you now know, what are the most important things you need as an instructor to implement data-driven instruction in your classroom? Be sure to include any thoughts on your card. You will have 30 seconds. We are going to now participate in what is called a jigsaw read. A jigsaw read, as you see in front of you, located on the text titled 6 Ways to Promote Data-Driven Instruction in K-12 Schools, is split up into 4 quadrants. A jigsaw read is great for the gradual release model, and it holds students accountable as well. But it should only be used sporadically for guided practice as we get closer to STAR. Using the jigsaw read, you will assign 1 quadrant to each student in a group of 4. That student will become the master of that particular quadrant. You will give them a set time to read their quadrant. During this time, you would set expectations for annotations or note-taking that the students will need to be doing while they are reading their quadrant. After the timer goes off, the students will then report back to each other their annotations and notes and any questions or main ideas that they drew from that particular read. Then, as a whole, they will synthesize and connect those ideas together. You all are sitting in groups of 4. Look at your desks. You will notice a 1, a 2, a 3, or a 4. You will become the master of your section of the jigsaw read. I will give you 5 minutes to be the master of your section. During this time, I want you to use the main idea formula that we have gone over before and set those expectations for your students as they read. You will model those expectations during the 5 minutes. You may begin. Please pause this video for 5 minutes and then report back to each other. Welcome back. I hope you all had a great read over the article titled 6 Ways to Promote Data-Driven Instruction in K-12 Schools. What I want you to do next is share with your partners, 1 at a time. Person number 1 will go first, 2, then 3, then 4. You will each have 3 minutes to share your particular section. Share your annotations, share your notes, share any questions or thoughts or wonderings that you have over this article. Teachers, when you're doing this with your students, make sure that you have set accountable talk expectations and that you are consistently monitoring the accountable talk that is occurring in your classroom. Direct students away from any talk that is not accountable for classroom expectations, and make sure that redirection is constantly occurring if the students are not being held accountable. Please pause this video for approximately 10 to 12 minutes in order to share those wonderings. During this time, teachers, you are going to take the notes of your 3 other partners. In your classroom, your students would also be taking the notes of their 3 other partners while the partner who is sharing out is delivering that information. When you entered into the classroom, you were given a CPS clicker with a number on it. Since most of you or some of you are familiar with the CPS system or all-in learning, which is what we will be using as a campus this school year, I won't take too much time on how to use them. In front of you, you will notice that there is a multiple choice answer worksheet for the article that you all just read. I am going to give you guys some time to work in a group on 2 of the 4 questions and also give you some time to work individually on the other 2 questions. Take 4 minutes to work through the first 2 questions with your group. You are going to pause this video for 4 minutes while you work through and enter in your answers with your group members. Make sure all of you have entered in the same answer in your clickers for the particular question. I've designed this activity to give me data that is incorrect or would indicate a need for some tiered or small group instruction. So you will automatically get the answers wrong when you enter them in. I've done that to give you guys a modeled lesson of how I use data-driven instruction in my classroom and how I would like to see it used here at LG Pinkston High School for the 2015-2016 school year in the English and ELAR classrooms. Using the data that I've received from the clickers into the computer, I would rotate throughout groups during the 4 minutes while they're working together and putting in their answers. I would rotate throughout the groups that are in the red or any student expectation or objective that is lower than a set percentage. So I would go around to those groups and clarify misconceptions and ask questions that would lead the students to the correct answer. Make sure that the questions that you're asking are aligned with the objective or the student expectation. For the individual work that the students will be doing by themselves, you will also give them roughly 2 to 4 minutes to work through the last 2 questions on their own and using the same process that you did during group or guided instruction. Make sure that you're rotating through those students and clarifying misconceptions. Another thing that you can do is once you've gathered all the individual data, you can tier students or group students by question. So with your computer, you can very quickly call out students' names. Don't have to tell them that they got anything wrong. You don't want to single them out that way, but you could say student A, student B, student C, student D, I want you over here in this group for question number 1, question number 2, 3, 4, and so on. And then you can have them work together through those questions to either get the right answer and then rotate through them and monitor their accountable talk to see what type of misconceptions are occurring, where do they need clarification, and then you can provide it as needed. Now it's your turn. Take out the ACP or Common Assessment data that I requested you bring in the email that I sent you before we had this professional development. With your grade level colleagues, choose one TEK or student expectation based on your ACP or Common Assessment data that you will work on next week. I want you to decide how and what you will do in order to gather and use the data in your classroom. We don't want to report data. We want to use it in order to drive our instruction. Think of strategies that you will use. What types of MRSs? What types of small groups will you have? What type of tiered instruction will you use? And then share with your group and commit to trying at least one thing next week. Using the paper that I'm passing out to you now, I want you to write those things down that you are going to commit to using, along with the data, the percentage, and what goal do you have for that data in the upcoming weeks using your new data-driven instruction model. You have 2 minutes. I will close our professional development with this final thought. I want us to make sure that we are cultivating a staff, a family, a culture that is willing to share and grow together. We need to make sure that we are sharing tips, resources, and asking questions, sharing questions. I want you guys to look at me as a resource. I don't want to ever be a source of stress or a source of contention. I would like to be a resource as well as someone that you feel that you can trust and turn to when you need something, anything in your classroom. I want us to learn from each other as well as grow with each other. Using the model I have presented to you over data-driven instruction, I'm positive that we will have a growing data year for the 2015-2016 school year here at LG Pinkston High School. Go Vikings!